Benjamin Netanyahu's senior advisor, Mark Regev, has appeared on CNN, where he was interviewed by anchor Jake Tapper. That's when Regev made a claim that we all know is a lie, one that Tapper was quick to pick him up on.
I think it will be seen that the IDF really has done everything that is humanly possible to try to safeguard innocent civilians.
It's very hard to believe that, especially on a day when one of our producers lost 9 members of his family who were not members of Hamas, not members of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, not members of any group, just 9 people just trying to live their lives.
First of all, I extend my sorrow to him and my sympathies. But if I saw your report correctly, and please correct me if I say something wrong, that happened in northern Gaza, in Gaza City, where a month ago we already asked all the civilians to leave. And most of them did. If there was like 1,200,000 people there was only a couple of tens of thousands left. And one has to ask, yes, they had ample opportunity to leave. I don't know what happened. I don't have the specific circumstances. I know there's deadly combat going on now in the north, still between these IDF and Hamas terrorists, yes? And we don't want to see anyone caught up in the crossfire, but why didn't they heed the advice and leave the area?
You can't blame them. There's now
I
fighting.
don't blame them.
But you can't. There's fighting in the south now. I've been asking this since October 7th. Where are these people supposed to go?
It was good that Jake Tapper called him out on that, right? I mean, it's quite an extreme case because it's literally that man's colleague whose family were killed. So, I think we saw a considerable amount of empathy there for the Palestinian people from Jake Tapper. Would it have been the case if it wasn't, someone with a direct connection to him? I don't know. I wouldn't want to sort of presume. But Vincent, it does seem dangerous for the Israelis here because a number of people they've killed, and especially the amount of journalists they've killed, means that there are lots of people at mainstream journalistic organizations that would usually be very supportive of Israel. And I have to say, actually, the clips I've seen of CNN, in general, they have been very supportive of Israel. Many of their hosts are very much sort of putting out Israeli talking points, I think, to a large degree. There's sort of clinks or chinks within that armor. But here, the fact that so many journalists have been killed, the fact that so many people in Gaza have been killed, that even sort of anchors on CNN and mainstream media know someone who's died, right? Or know someone whose family have died. Does that potentially put Israel in a shaky situation?
Yeah, I think that this also matters. Jake Tapper, of course, is no radical anti-imperialist. This is the kind of guy that I think that if you see this kind of reaction from him, this does start to matter. And again, it matters not because world opinion has an automatic effect on Israeli policy. Of course, Israel was born, believing often for good reasons that, the world was against it. Often having the world shout out it often leads Israel to double down. But these kinds of shifts in mainstream parts of the United States, someone like Jake Tapper changing his opinion or expressing this kind of an opinion online or on the air, I'm sorry. The members of State Department slowly changing their position, even rebelling against executive policy. These things don't, I think, cause an automatic change to the situation on the ground. Tragically, I think that's going to keep continuing the way it is. But I think in the long term, these things start to change the possible trajectories over the next few years for the way that Israel can or will act with regard to Palestinians.